All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call this meeting of the Pinson City Council to order for November 4th, 2021. If you would stand with me for the pledge of, for the invocation by Councilor Churchwell, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilor Tanner.
Father, we come to you thanking you for this city and the people that lives in it and around it. We pray, Father, that you'll help us as a council, that we will take every effort, Father, to do the things that are best for the people. We pray, Lord, that you would bless all whom desire duty to pray. Go with us now through this meeting. We'll be careful to give thy name the praise. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, you may be seated. And if you would, say a special prayer for Councilor Walker and his family, since he has lost his mother since our last meeting, and our thoughts are certainly have been and will be with him and his family. Moving on, roll call.
Councilor Tanner.
Here.
Councilor Walker.
Here.
Councilor Roberts.
Here.
Councilor Churchwell.
Here.
Councilor Kirkland.
Here.
Mayor Cochran.
Here. Do I have someone to offer the waiving of the reading of the minutes from October 21st, as well as the acceptance as written?
I will offer that.
Councilor Walker, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any conversation, discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect the ayes carry unanimously. Is Centerpoint here yet?
Gonna be late.
Going to be late, so they're not here, so we're going to go ahead and move past that. Is Tony here? I don't see him, so we'll move on past that as well. Councilor Tanner, payment of bills.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $113,561.30.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Would you like to go over the highlights of those bills?
Yes, we have the Jefferson County, our sheriff's deputies for $34,000, and for 11 AED devices to for cardiac solutions in $33,835.
All right. Any questions on the bills, guys? All right. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect the ayes carried. We shall pay the bills. Moving on to enhancements, Councilor Kirkland, talk about trade days.
Yes, I want everyone to remember to come out Saturday at Main Street at 9 to 4 for our first trade days. It's supposed to be a fantastic event with like 90 some odd vendors, maybe a little more. And I think it's going to really be interesting and a lot of fun. And I encourage all of you to come out.
Additionally to the vendors that'll be there, my understanding is Kevin down at the Price's Drugs, which has been a fabulous hit. In case you haven't been there to get a hot dog or an ice cream, you should, is going to have a cruise in. So we'll have several classic cars. Mm-hmm. I don't really know where he's going to put them.
Up and down the middle of the street.
But to let the public know, the trade days is being hosted by the merchants of Main Street, not by the city necessarily. But we are providing support in the context of having deputies to block the roads and do all of that kind of thing to help, because we want to support them. But if someone wants to sign up for trade days for the next one that may occur, that's going to happen through the merchants on Main Street. We will attempt to get you some more information on that in the future as to who you contact for the next one, because I've had people say, well, if I'd known about it, I would have participated. I'm like, and I want to say, well, it's not really my job to tell you about it, but I'm telling you about it as a convenience.
Good.
So, hey, don't holler at me, buddy, kind of deal. But, so anyway, that's a good thing. I look forward to being down there. I won't be able to be there the entire day because I have another wedding this Saturday. Imagine that. I've got 2 weddings during football season, back to back.
My goodness, couldn't you talk them into changing it?
Somebody didn't think that through too well.
Well, one of them was my nephew, and one of them is my brother through another mother, and I'm not going to miss his daughter's wedding. So
That'll be partner in crime.
my partner in crime, if you will. And there's nothing that could keep me away from that one. So
But when you were talking about the trade days, you're absolutely right. These people, the store owners down there, they have put this on themselves. They have organized it and arranged it, and it's Tom And Patty Corsi is the main ones that's doing this, and they have put a lot of effort into it. So we're just giving them all of our support.
Right, and a large part of the idea is to bring more attention to the Main Street area that's getting a lot more occupancy in their buildings, and let the public know that here's a place you can come shop. You can go to a boutique, you can get a hot dog, you can go to a, what Patty's on Main Street, what do they call it? A
She's
flea market
flea
type
market,
store.
antique, and that's just
consignment, if you
right.
will.
It's improved, and she's gotten her business has really improved. So it's working.
All right, so moving on, Councilor Tanner, you want to talk about the Veterans Day luncheon?
Yes, just to invite all veterans that live in Pinson. We'll be serving Chick-fil-A boxes on November the 11th, Veterans Day. If you would like to be included, please call City Hall at 205-680-5556. And that includes +1. We'll be doing it from 11 to 12. And Friday, tomorrow, is the cutoff. So if you know anybody that might not have called in and registered, please ask them to do so.
Encourage them to. Yeah, we really want to be able to give something to the veterans because we appreciate everything they do for us. There's a special gift included with that, as there usually is, and I think they'll really like the special gift this year. Should we tell them what it is?
No.
It's supposed to be a surprise. Is that-
Yeah, sure. I
Okay,
like
then
surprises.
I shall not spill those beans.
It's not alive.
It is. I can assure you it's not alive. All right, moving on to the Christmas parade.
Yes, the Christmas parade is December the 7th, starts at 6:30 at Main Street, travels to Pinson Boulevard down to Bicentennial Park, where we will do the Christmas tree lighting. If you like to be in the parade, it does not cost anything. You just need to go to the city website to fill out an application, and you can drop that by or email it. Information's on the form. The theme is The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Of course, it's in the evening, so we will like lights. Let me think what else.
We will be broadcasting it live that
yes.
evening as well.
We're gonna do that through Facebook Live. That will be a new adventure.
And YouTube.
So and YouTube, yes. So that's exciting. So I think that's about it.
That's about it. All right. And again, I encourage everyone to participate. We'll have a meeting here on
The 9th.
at 5:15
15.
here in council chambers for volunteers that would like to help us with the parade. We already have several, but we could definitely use all the people that are willing to come help us put on the parade because it's a fairly large logistical thing. You can always use more help.
Sure.
All right, and you also wanted to talk about the Christmas movie in December.
Yes. December the 10th. That is the Friday after the parade. That's the Friday after the state championship football game. Just my reasoning. We will be hosting a Christmas movie, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. We'll just follow that theme along. We'll have hot chocolate and cookies that night. We just want everybody to, it'll start at dark, which time changes this week, so I guess it'll be about 6 o'clock, I guess, is what
Around
we'll shoot
6.
for. We've never done this before, so we kind of have to kind of do it trial by fire, but we'd like everybody to come out and enjoy the movie. Bring your blanket.
And the way things are going, I would encourage bringing a blanket, but by the time it gets here, it could be a luau weather, who knows? Welcome to Alabama. All right. Moving on to my report, Shred-a-thon that we've decided as council to do quarterly. This quarter's Shred-a-thon is coming up this Saturday at the same time of trade days from 9 to 12, though, here at City Hall. So on your way down to trade days, bring your items that need to be shredded to City Hall, and there will be gentlemen out front from the shredding company to assist you with that. Building permits and inspections, we have got that going strong. We have, I believe, 4 applications coming in for new home construction, which has not happened in our community in quite some time, and that's very encouraging that we know there's 70 new homes coming online, a lot of things happening there, but the permits and inspections department theoretically can pay for itself if you have enough projects going on, and so far it's very encouraging. So Innsbrook Lake, just a conversation about that. I've had some conversations with the powers that be at Innsbrook Lake. Their homeowners associations had some difficulties as of recent times, collecting dues and stuff and being able to afford to keep it up. The conversation I've had with the guys in Innsbrook is if they would deed that over to the city, we would gladly take it on, take responsibility for it, make it look beautiful for the entire community. It would in turn become a public park. But that's kind of part of the deal. So that conversation continues to go on. I welcome input from council on that. I just wanted to make sure I'll let you guys know what was happening. Obviously, we wouldn't do anything without the consent of the full council before we move forward. Any thoughts on that? All right, no thoughts. And playoff update, again, your Pennsylvania Indians are in the playoffs. As is usual, that's become commonplace. We are the city of champions. But this year is a little twist. We are actually traveling in the first round. We'll be going to Muscle Shoals to play. I'm sure they have the NHFS broadcast, I would imagine, at Muscle Shoals. And so if you're unable to make that journey, you can watch the game on that if you're a subscriber. But I will be making the journey, and I know Councilor Tanner will. I'm not sure who else here will, but I would encourage you to make the journey if you can and support the team. Go Indians. All right. And that brings us to the time of a public hearing. For our next item of business, we will resume a public hearing that was continued from our September 2nd meeting. This public hearing relates to 6230 Sproul Avenue. That is property where it has been alleged that is in violation of the city's litter and junk ordinance. The hearing was continued from September meeting in order to give the property owners a fair opportunity to address the conditions on the property. We will now resume that public hearing, and I'd like for us to begin the hearing by calling on Bob Jones, who can hopefully tell us about the condition of the property today. Then we will give the owner of the property, as well as anyone else in the audience who would like to speak to this, an opportunity to address the council as well. Bob?
Thank you. Yes, I've went out as of about 3 o'clock today and took pictures of where we are at this point.
I'm getting dizzy.
Sorry, I want to go
I'm
back.
just going to be honest with you, Bob. If you're going to go at that rate of speed, I'm not going to get nothing out of this right now.
We're trying to make this a record meeting. So I actually want to go back where I don't end up in a bad spot for you guys. So I'm going to start with first and move on to the end this way. What I found today, this wasn't today, this was a couple of days ago, but those tables have been removed as of this point. So starting today, these are pictures that I took. They fenced in a part of the backyard where some of the stuff is, and just out of no need, I thought to climb the fence or anything. These are going to be taken sometimes from a distance, and those that I zoomed in on, I will zoom on again if I need to. But I don't know if I needed to explain every picture, or I will just kind of scroll through them slowly and wait for any questions from you guys.
Bob, can you, on some of these, if it's not real clear, can you enlighten us as to what these items are?
Some of it is it's just old construction debris or leftover parts. Some of that looks to be like pipe.
Okay.
There's a pallet there, and some of that looks just like to be scrap. It's really hard to
Okay,
say
I didn't
the
know if
way
that had fallen off the structure or what that deal was there. So that's scrap metal and stuff that's been brought in.
Yeah, and it appears some bags of mulch or some other bags of different things there.
Okay.
This is just a little bit to your left of the last one, showing the building materials again. Some sheet metal in there, fence post. Starting with some lawnmowers. Bags of mulch that's deteriorated. Grass growing out of them. Not sure what's under the tarp, but just wanted to give you a view of the whole property. That seems to be pallets of stepping stones of some kind. Some of the new fencing. That's just the back area, back where the mowers are stored. Just wanted to show how bad it had grown up. This appears to be property that they've acquired, and it was part that was fenced near. So I noticed the back of the house. So it's not a part of this case, but it's just something I wanted to kind of alert everyone to, and I'm going to alert our building official too, that the house is in a poor state of repair. Maybe something that comes up in the future. So those are not pertinent to this case, but while I was there, they were taken, so it's kind of hard for me to just skip over them. This is right directly behind the house. They're just items that's,
So this is back to the subject tonight?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. The lawnmower graveyard is kind of behind that old house that I was walking back from, that you saw the pictures of. It's trash. I don't know what kind of trash, but there's trash bags in the back of the truck. Some other items laying there.
Is that vehicle in good shape, or, I mean, is it functional?
I can't answer any functionality of any because it was relayed through our attorney, Mr. Black, to their attorney that I'd be arriving today, and they could display any operable vehicles, and that was declined. That's all the photographs.
All right. So, Bob, in your estimation, has there been any improvement in the last 60 days from where we,
From the date we passed to the date today, I don't see anything having changed. And if it is, it's so minuscule that it did not show up in my photographs.
it appears that some things have just been moved around on the property,
Rearranged,
but not
not removed.
really reconciled. Okay. Anybody else have questions for Bob? Inquiries?
Just one, is this, I know it's residential, but do they have a business license? I mean, were they operating a business from here?
No, sir.
Not a business.
No,
You're out
sir.
of order.
Okay.
All right, so based on those findings, what would be your recommendation, Bob?
At this point, we have no choice but to remove the items.
Okay. All right, thank you, Bob. All right, welcome the homeowner to address the council.
I have a PowerPoint and other pictures. Y'all told me to bring a jump drive to show them.
Now, you might have to bear with us on the technical end until we can get this jump drive
That's
working.
fine. It should be pretty easy. It's only got one PowerPoint on it.
Yeah, but that would be expecting us to know how to operate it.
I tried to email
That's
it to
very
you guys
presumptive.
today. I called and I asked that I email it, and she said I had to bring a jump drive.
And that's fine. I'm sure Bob will be able to fix, well, it looks like Bob knows how to operate it. Who has
Oh,
it?
who's the remote?
You got it.
I think it's,
Oh, it's gotta be
yeah,
The television remote.
this one.
Yes.
Well, there's 4 over here, you know.
I think we're figuring it out.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you got them up?
Is it in PDF or is it in a?
It's a PowerPoint.
So we'll need the software,
Well, it's PowerPoint.
It's
which-
PowerPoint.
but that's not gonna have PowerPoint on the
It may
TV.
not.
I asked that today when I called.
I might have an adapter out in my car if we want to take a brief recess.
All right, I'm gonna call a brief recess
Might. Let's go.
so we can see if we can find the appropriate, because we want you to have your quote-unquote day in court, if you will, and not hinder your presentation.
Excuse me.
Got us paused? Bob, I know I can get my laptop and make it work. You'll also need or unless you can,
Yeah, I tried
you'll need a HDMI cable.
No, I didn't give you an option.
Pardon me, there'll be no coughing in the chamber.
It's probably COVID.
You know, if I were that powerful, it'd be great, wouldn't it? I think Bob's trying to get a laptop that'll make it work.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I talk about just a public comment that I was going to make about something else at the end of the meeting? Can I
Sure,
do
we're
that
in
now?
recess. You can speak freely.
Well, while we're being watched, I just thought, I had the chance I stopped by the rock school to watch the Magic City Gun Club, and I met a family of 4 that were target practicing, but there's 7 of them. 4, 5, 6, yes. But anyway, just sat there and talked to them for a little bit. It's very interesting what they do, and you know, anybody that needs to go, that wants to go by, they need to stop by there. The mother said it's a great
That's what I'm wondering.
opportunity for kids. Her oldest son is actually on a scholarship in Ohio.
Yeah, and a
On that
lot of
ears
people
off.
don't realize
That's
that,
right.
that
Yeah, yeah, it does.
air rifle is a
He's got the same thing going on.
Olympic event.
Olympic event, yeah.
Yeah.
So you-
So,
yeah.
but it was
Let's see if I
very
can
interesting
open it
I stayed there for about 15 minutes and,
They let you
watch
shoot
them.
the gun.
no, they're very serious about their time and all that. But anyway.
Fair enough.
But it was very interesting.
I'd make them let me shoot the gun. It's just me. All right, have we found a connectivity?
We're working there.
Getting closer?
I hope so. I'm closing out all my regular work stuff.
Can you connect to the Apple device from
I
your
think
computer?
I can do that, but I'm not 100% sure.
And if
about
is that an Apple
connected. It
It
is.
should run PowerPoint.
So the question though is can I see
It should run PowerPoint.
this? Hang on a minute, I've got 2 things. I want to see if I'm actually connected.
Well,
to
we're
internet.
waiting on Counselor Roberts to figure out his technology, and we think it'll make it work.
It looks promising, but we are connected to the internet, so.
You need to be connected to this network.
Yes, that's what. And let's see here.
How you do it?
USB disk. And scroll.
Probably have to be connected to the private one.
Uh-oh.
I don't know, that Apple device.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's an Apple device, probably will need to.
Hang
All
on,
runs
let
on
me
the private
see
network.
what we have here.
In order to share stuff to
Do
that Apple
have
device,
the
you need to be
latest
on the same
PowerPoint,
network.
so that's good. So let me see if I can project. Isn't that up right here now? Pull something up, there isn't very many things, and there are things up here
Look empty.
One of these up here, project.
I'm waiting to see the whale, and the whale goes through it, gobble them all.
Where'd you see it?
Anybody else?
I want something small, because it seems like it's going all the way across. Don't want to do a back up. Don't want to do it.
Oh, I love it. She's so sweet.
Go to settings right quick.
You know, they get no little balls.
You see Eric MacBook Pro?
I don't know if I would want it in the middle or the end.
Oh, where I could talk to it. I thought you
I
meant
think I'd rather be on the
actually
end.
see it.
Because
Yeah, I see, there he comes there.
when you go to the middle, they use those.
All right, I'll be right back.
I'm looking for the project, the actual shoot to there. Is that? Yeah, this is Apple computer, so that's why I'm just gonna throw the thing up. But I'm looking for where you see the plate.
Give them that. Plug it in, you got HDMI out, right? All right, then you give them that, and they'll go plug it in the TV.
Okay.
It's a short cord, but we can make it work.
Okay.
If you can get the PowerPoint up.
It's on this side over here. PowerPoint's already up.
Plug that into one of the HDMIs, we'll select it, and we can make it work. Hey, screen, move on, move on. I gotta
Here it
wait.
is. Here it is, right here. Finally found it. Screen mirroring.
Like it's pulling it. Maybe.
Give it a
I
second.
think so.
There we go.
There
got
we
it.
go.
You unplugged it. All right, I will call us back into session. I believe we figured out how to get the PowerPoint going.
Thank you. I
Let me
appreciate that
get
very much.
the-
Sorry, we were not as technically advanced as we had hoped to be,
That was fast.
but Robbie solved it.
So my name is Melissa Callahan, and I appreciate the council giving us an extension because we were here 2 months ago, or September. And I appreciate that because we've done a lot of work since then. I feel like the pictures that you saw on the first part are not all the things, because we were told to work on the landscaping and the lawnmowers. And so if you'll go ahead and queue up so I can talk to you about what the different ones are, or go to the next slide.
I might have spoken too soon.
Yeah.
No, he's
Hit
got
the
it.
plate.
He's just got to hit.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so this is the front of our house. This was pre, the last meeting. And I just want you to see that, it said our whole area was awful, but it's not. That's the front of the house, so you can click to the next one. And we had started on the back flower beds, and I do believe last time it was said about our buckets, those are actually, peppers we were growing, so that's part of the side yard. Click on, please, Robbie. Thank you. That was the bags pre the work, and we're down to about 6 that we have not finished putting out. So I just wanted you to know that just because there were a couple left there, we just haven't finished it. I work 5 days a week, so it's been hard getting it all done. Next slide, please. That is the fire pit. That was one of the sections of brick we have not been able to finish up because we're going to do a fire pit. And that was pre with all the other bricks there. You can click on. And this was the back flower bed that had some bags of mulch in it last time, and I'll show you, we've gotten most of that done. You can click on. This is the back flower bed, and we've gotten rid of the trailer back there and a whole bunch of stuff around that flower bed. Click on. We've done a walkway from the backyard to the front yard. That was part of our brick pallets. Next, please. This is the inside flower bed. We've bricked all of that, and that's where part of our mulch is, so that's why the mulch bags are much smaller now. And then this is the outside flower bed, is the one on the right, and on the left is actually the corner by the house. And then here's more of the side and the other corner of that flower bed. The front of the house now, and the side. And then we're working in that back section. We haven't done anything on the left side. That's next to the driveway. We've still got some more brick to do there. And then you go ahead. And that's the back one that we haven't done, and the one on the right is actually by the front door. I haven't been able to get in there and finish up the iris bed. So my to-do list. So we have done a lot since then. We've gotten those flower beds done. I'll be honest, I planted 100 bulbs this weekend. My mother came and helped me do that. We still have to finish the flower bed by the garage and the fire pit. And I mean, we have cleaned up a lot of it. I know that there's still lawnmowers, so that is on my to-do list still. I only have so many days on the weekend to do it. And so I'm asking for a little bit of an extension to finish that. Because the flower beds, I got 2 left to do, and then the lawnmowers. We have, I know that Bob said we hadn't done anything, but all the things y'all told us about the flower beds and all that extra mulch, we have really worked hard to do that. And I am asking for a little bit more of an extension to finish up the rest of it.
Counselor Tanner, you have a question?
I do not live in that area. I live in Palmerdale, so this is not my neighborhood or anything. Sitting up here, I have to look at representing the whole city. And so I have to look at representing that neighborhood. And when you know, we've been trying to work with y'all for about 2 or 3 years now. Not as forceful as we've gotten the last couple of months. And what you've done to the house, beautiful, the yards and all that, but that's not what we're concerned with. And I know Councilor Robbie Roberts asked about if it was a business, because that's what it looks like. It's a business because there's so much stuff there. But me looking at it, representing, people, the people that live in that area, they feel like their house values are not where they should be. They can't show a house, if somebody drives by. So I want you to step back and look at what everybody else is seeing. Personally, I would vote not to give you any more time. That's how I'm going to vote. I can't speak for the rest of them, because I feel like I've been on this council for a long time, and I know how long that the prior mayor, tried to work with you.
And so I would like a little bit of a rebuttal to that. When Hoyt came to me 2 years ago, we were cleaning out from under the house and had to have new heat and air conditioning. And we did, because Bob Jones came by and he said, it has to be under an awning. He said, what's under your garage is not a big issue because it's under that. And we worked on all the stuff. There was tons of stuff. That one picture where he said all the tables, we had a garage sale for 2 days. And then we took 3 loads to the thrift store. So I don't want people to think just from the pictures that we haven't done anything, because we have. And part of the stuff that we were supposed to do was all the landscaping stuff. And we have really worked hard on that. And I agree that it could hurt house values. And I'm just going to give you the house 2 doors up, sold for, I think, about $20,000 more than the people bought it for. So houses are selling in our neighborhood. There's a lot of rentals in our neighborhood also.
That's a future for us. Robbie, Glenda, John, questions? Because basically, in this hearing process, our job is to do fact-finding, just the same way we did last time. And we've had one come before us since then as well. We try not to be arbitrary. We try to be as fair as we can. Brad, do you have questions?
The lawnmowers, that's a big, do any of those run?
Yes.
How many?
Philip? I think all of them run.
All of them ran when they were put there. I've been sick. I can't do stuff like I used to.
Well, the biggest question I would have about the lawnmowers, honestly, and I'll just make a statement here. You live in a residential neighborhood. I can't fathom why anyone would think it's a good idea to put 30 or 40 lawnmowers in their backyard. I don't understand. Now, if you want to be in the business of preparing lawnmowers and selling them, you should go open a business in a zone where that's made to be. And I say that to make this point. I understand you may say they were running when I put them there, but my question is, why did you put them there in a residential zone?
I like to tinker on, some people work on cars, and tinker on old cars and restore them. I work on lawnmowers, they're mine.
Do you sell them?
No,
You never sell them? They just sit there?
sometimes I do, but people who restore cars sometimes sell their cars.
Fair enough. And again, I know I've kind of gone a little bit beyond the fact-finding mission by making a statement. That's okay. I just want to gather some understanding as to why. All right, do I have anybody else that would like to speak to this property in the audience?
You mean in the audience or?
In the audience.
Oh, in the audience?
Come to the mic if you would, please.
Yeah, I was hoping the homeowner, yeah, let me eject it. If she could remain behind.
She can, but I thought you didn't have any more
Well, I
questions.
actually wanted to hear from any of the public first. That's why I was, and then
I have something to say.
Yes, ma'am.
I agree with Counselor Tanner. I will vote not to extend time because it's been a long time. And I have to also, we all have to think about all the residents, all the citizens. And so, I'll have to vote no more time. You have done an improvement. That's great.
And every time that we have been asked over the last 2 years, we have taken stuff and gotten rid of stuff that he's asked for.
All right. I think they do want to hear from additional people in the audience, neighbors or what have you. Feel free to come to the mic.
Huh?
But you'll stay, remain behind.
I heard
Okay,
you, I
okay,
heard you,
okay.
Robbie. You said stay. I got that.
He wants you to be available for additional questions if need be. Yes, sir.
Okay, my name's Danny Bromley. I do live in that neighborhood, 4285 Walnut Street. I've been there 21 years. 6201 Walnut Circle Drive also.
Yes, sir.
Had that house built 11 years ago. I can understand early no's from these two councilwomen. I can understand that, and I respect it. I don't disrespect you. But at the same time, all the pictures I saw in the beginning, with all due respect to Bob Jones, no disrespect, was 75% lawnmowers. Unless I'm blind, or unless these glasses the VA gave me don't work right, most of them were lawnmowers. And the Honorable Mayor has said that lawnmowers was one of the issues. You brought that out just now. So did Mr. Walker. So it's Christmas time, it's Thanksgiving time. These people have had time. So we got two sides to the story. I say because of all of that and all the things I heard in the beginning about all the activities that's coming up in Pinson, why spoil holidays? If the lawnmowers is the big thing, why not say lawnmowers out in 30 days or it's over? I'm just asking. I'm not telling.
I appreciate that.
John knows me well. I'm just telling you. But as a veteran, I want to thank y'all for the VA thing that's coming up.
All right, I appreciate it.
All of us veterans in Pinson, we appreciate it.
And I
very
hope you
much.
sign up.
Oh, yes, I signed up after the last council meeting. When it was brought up. Yes, I did.
Good deal.
I'm not gonna miss a meal now.
You know, and I'll be honest with you, bro, I'm not gonna miss a meal either.
But
Thank you.
going back one more time,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dawn and Ms. Glenda, I'm not criticizing you for your early vote of no. I'm just saying, it's a holiday season. Can we do 30 days, lawnmower related? That's all I ask. Thank you very much.
Additional questions from the council?
I have one.
Yes.
And it's more for Bob. Bob, I know they stated that they've gotten rid of stuff over the years that we've asked them to. Have they added stuff also?
Yes. Can I have the screen back? These are the pictures previous meeting. That's not this.
I think what he's trying to show is where we did the gazebo, because of the bugs in general in Pinson.
What I'm
Because there's
trying
not
to
any-
show is that Mr. Bromley says that, he said with all respect, but something to the effect that I'm not telling the truth. And I'm gonna show pictures, because it's not about my truth.
Thank you. Well, and I will clarify for the record, anytime you're talking about dealing with people's property, you deal with emotions. Emotions run high. Fortunately, our job is not to be emotional. Our job is just to do what we're charged to do. Sometimes it's popular, sometimes it's not popular, and I understand. I totally get it.
Okay, while he's looking.
While he's looking for photos, we can ask additional questions
Okay,
if you'd like.
so, that was all from the public? Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't believe, is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak to this? Seeing none, yeah, we can readdress.
Okay, so I see two fundamental areas here, and I want to get some clarity on this. One is a landscaping improvement, which I think you've made a pretty good case that.
If
that's
you
good.
could step back to the mic so we can hear your response, if you don't.
Yes, sir, the
thank you.
landscaping, yes.
Okay, so significant amount of work has taken place in the last 60 days with
Correct.
regard to that, which, and I could see even from Bob's photos where the mulch pile's gone down and that sort of thing in there. But then the second issue seems to be the lawnmowers and there's the stuff that I asked about earlier, because I wasn't sure whether or not it was storm damage or something like that. The metal parts and these sort of things right
So
here.
two of those are awnings that came off the house in a storm. You know,
So it
old
was-
houses
okay.
have those little, metals. Two of those were down there. And, we had our smoker down there. It's down there under the table, under that blue awning.
Okay. So, and I don't know if the other gentleman is answering questions or not, but if so.
Well,
I
if he
was-
does, I'd like him to come to the mic.
Okay, well, I'll ask you, and then
Just
if you
ask
need to bring in. So would it be fair to say that he's a collector of lawnmowers? Would that be?
He tinkers with them to have something to do.
Okay, so, because that's why we were trying to understand.
It's not a, yeah, it's not a business. He buys them and fixes them, and he's given them away before to people who didn't have any money to buy a lawnmower.
Okay. So, that's why we were trying to, I was trying to process, okay, why would someone have so many, I think that was the
Lawnmowers.
question, why would
Correct.
everybody have that? And then, based on what you're saying, I think he's like a car collector, except it's for.
Correct.
for
That's what he
lawnmowers.
was trying
Okay.
to say, yes.
Okay. So, I don't know if we're on converging paths or not, because, I see effort on your part, and I was not at the previous meeting. I was on vacation, so I didn't get to see it. But I have followed your case for a couple of years, and other individuals from the neighborhood have been here over the last few years to discuss it. I see potentially two different goals going on. One is the aspect of sprucing the house up, and then the other is of collectibles, and one man's treasures, another man's junk. So I know that's where we're at. The collectibles apparently has risen to the level that it appeared to me that perhaps you were running a business over there. So I don't know. I appreciate what the other gentleman said. He actually was kind of thinking the same thing I was, in that, okay, what's the deal? I don't know, though, legally, this is where Mr. Black will have to come in. I don't know about picking and choosing the items, that where progress is being made and not. Personally, I think the lawnmowers need to be way pared back. I think the storm debris and other items need to be hauled off. If I had a time machine, I'd go back and say, start there, get rid of that, and then start your landscaping. And tonight, when you came in and showed us, we'd probably all be going like, yeah, this is going well. But now it's kind of like, okay, you've improved the landscaping, but the other stuff is really what's got everybody upset.
Right, and there is definition on the lawnmowers themselves as to whether they run, whether they don't, and operational. There's a couple of points to that. Let's say the motor runs and it drives, but it doesn't have a deck on it. Well, it's not a lawnmower, and therefore it would fall under the non-operable. And that's kind of what you're looking at. Non-operable vehicles and that type of thing. That's where you're looking at. And you can only have so many on a property. That includes lawnmowers. Lawnmowers are part of that, and that's kind of why we're here. That and the other things. And again, not going to say there's not been effort made, and I appreciate that effort. I appreciate what has been done, but it doesn't eliminate the fact that all the lawnmowers that were originally there are still there, and other parts that fall under that junk categories. That's kind of where we are.
Exactly. So, and that being said, what are y'all's thoughts? Have y'all had conversations regarding what y'all would do with the lawnmowers? I mean, do you see that actually
Going away,
going
yes.
away, yeah.
Has has any lawnmowers been removed in the last 60 days?
No.
There, I've got my answer. All right.
Do
Any other
you wanna-
questions, John?
Okay.
John?
Yes, you've had 2+ years to clean up the yard, and now you're saying you need more time. How much more time do you think it would take? And it's not just lawnmowers, it's everything out there.
So I was gonna ask for 60 days, you know, and I think that would be helpful. And yes, we have over 2 years, but it's been different things over 2 years. The first thing that was complained about was where we were taking our heating and air conditioning out. And then we had our landscape stuff, delivered, and unfortunately I got COVID then. I think y'all remember that from the last conversation. And so then that got us behind on that. We have worked very hard on it. I have been a citizen here my entire life, except for a year I didn't live here. And I'm just, you know, I'm trying to make a living and get it cleaned up. I have tried. You know, mine's not the only one bad in the neighborhood, so, and I know y'all don't want to hear about that, but I am trying. We've been cleaning it up. I work in it every weekend.
Have
when
you
I'm
filed
off.
a complaint on any of these other homes?
No, I'm not going to, because you know what? That's not a good neighbor.
Well, it's, the neighborly thing is, and I've said this before from the dais, just my opinion, is when you move into a neighborhood, which I don't live in, but I have lived in one. I grew up in one. You really enter in a covenant with your neighbor saying, hey, I want to be your neighbor. Part of that is we all take care of our property. Hey, and if my neighbor's sick, I'm going to take them soup and all these kind of things. And it's that kind of thing that we're really kind of looking at here.
And
From a
we have
legal perspective.
removed a lot. I mean, I guess that's the part I'm a little upset with. We have removed a lot there.
Well, that's good.
All right, does anybody
But-
have any additional questions?
And that was why I was asking a little bit longer.
I understand.
But, you know, the homeowners, it's a big investment when you buy a home and you're trying to sell a home. And it does affect your sale of your home when you have people in the neighborhood that's property is not kept up. And each one of us has a responsibility to each other in our neighborhood to make our property, keep it up, make it look nice, where it enhances their value, enhances your value. So that's a responsibility we all have to each
And
other.
I take that responsibility. I've lived there 25 years
Oh,
or
I know.
greater.
And those neighbors, those other homeowners, you know, I have to, you know, feel for them. They've been there a long time, and they're wanting to do the right thing. If there's other neighbors in the neighborhood that needs to be cleaned up, we will address that. But right now, it's been over 2 years. So,
Councilor Walker, you have something to add?
Yeah, you mentioned the awning materials that were storm damaged. When did that occur? How long has that been there?
One of them fell off recently, but one of them was older, and we've got to get the siding worked on to have it put back up. I'll be happy to put that in the garage, so it'll be out of sight.
All right, does anyone have anything additional to add?
We can continue discussion once the hearing's closed.
We can, yes.
That's what I mean. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't
We
have-
can
I don't-
as a,
I don't have any
as a
more-
council.
I don't have any more.
Looks like I
public
do have
comments,
one
though.
more person from the audience that would like to be heard. Yes, sir. If you could step to the mic, if you could step to the microphone,
I did
identify
like that.
yourself, give your name and address.
Well, 6230 Pearl Avenue,
What's your name?
Philip Lucas.
Philip Luker. Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to address Robbie on the lawnmowers. The lawnmowers have a place to go. I'm gonna put them undercover under the carport. Then they won't be in the yard where everybody will see them. It's taken me longer to do things because what used to take me a day takes me a week. What used to take me a week takes me a month, and what done in a month now takes me a year because of my health. She works 12 to 15 hours a day. She can't be much help. She comes home, she's exhausted, she goes to bed. The neighbors, as well as him and the rest of them in the neighborhood, have came down and helped me, and I really appreciate them. I have one man that started all of this, and I won't get into that. I won't get into that. I'm just saying. But what you have problems with every time the attorneys have given me something to do, I have done it. Then they would come back, take more pictures and add stuff to it. Well, when you're renovating and fixing a place up, you will have debris in the yard, but it's not garbage. It's just like chain link fence. I took it down. Well, that's sitting there. It's in the picture, but it won't be there. I want a nice place too. I don't want to have to get out and weed eat around my house, because I'm not able. All I'm asking is let me get it put back the best way without you invading on my property. That's all I'm asking.
Well, I appreciate that, but I will say this, from the first hearing to now, there's been no deviation from our message. We haven't said one thing, then took pictures and said another thing. That's not happened here in this council. I can't speak to what may have happened prior to this
That's
council.
what I was talking about. Be
But
private.
I can assure you that we have been consistent, and we have had the same approach from the first hearing to this one. And I
So are
appreciate
you
your comments.
considering a hearing 2 years ago that I didn't know anything about, or are you considering the one 2 months ago?
I'm considering the ones that we have been involved in. This council, I was not involved in that hearing, and I can't speak to it. I know it's an
There
ongoing.
wasn't a hearing, because I just was sent a letter to work on things.
Right.
That's why I was wanting to make sure.
And that's why we're going through this process properly, going through the hearing properly. I do know that we gave an additional 60 days, which I think was gracious and suggested by this council. We've done that. So does anyone have anything additional to add to this before we close the public hearing part? All right, seeing none, I'm closing the public hearing part. Thank you guys for your comments. And we'll move on to the next phase, which is we have a resolution ordering the abatement of litter, junk, nuisance located at 6230 Sproul Avenue. Is there anyone that would like to offer that resolution?
I'll offer it.
I have an offer. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have an offer and a second, and we can have discussion on that. Is there anything someone would like to add?
So how do we,
We have clearly defined guidelines as to what is weed, litter, and junk.
okay, so the landscaping material, would that fall underneath that category? I mean,
I'll
she's got a lot
suspend the
of,
rules to allow Bob to come to the mic.
she
and
has a
address
lot of
questions.
pavers and stuff out there that she seems to have been working on the thing here, and I don't know if that falls under the, will that be left behind so she can finish her landscaping project?
To a degree, that's, of course, everyone has some of that around their house. It just becomes a level of how much. And that's a very fine line when we talk about stacked pavers on a pallet. It's just part of the big picture. I think if the stacked pallet of pavers were the only thing there, we may not be here. So,
No, I
do
would
they
agree, I would agree totally,
qualify?
but I'm talking about if we do the removal, would we remove everything, or is there a scenario here where we would say, we're gonna leave behind
No, there
X
are
amount
items,
of
there are
pavers,
items
or-
in that yard that are not considered junk,
Okay,
litter.
all right, that was my
That would
That's
not be
always the
removed.
case.
Okay.
And Bob knows what those guidelines are, and Bob would execute any abatement. According to those guidelines, he would document, take photographs of everything that was removed, if indeed there was some removed. And so that falls into the zoning official, and he understands those guidelines.
Okay, that was my question. So,
That's his
Thank you.
job.
Thank you, Bob. All right, additional questions or comments on the main resolution? All right, seeing none, can we have a roll call vote on the resolution?
Counselor Tanner?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
Mayor Cochran?
Yes, and let the record reflect that passes. This is resolution number 2135. Bob is given the responsibility of executing that abatement, and we appreciate it. Thank you, Bob, for your hard work.
Just say one more thing, Mayor.
Yes, Bob.
Just for everyone's knowledge, we will get that set up, but we will also make advance notice to the homeowners
Yeah.
that we're going to do it on this particular day.
I mean, it'll be, these types of things are done appropriately with the homeowner at home, with their ability to see what's being removed and to raise, if they so choose, a rebuttal on a particular item and say, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that. The documentation's done so that there's no misunderstandings, and it's
So, I mean, I don't know how long it takes to execute these things, but
A
in
day.
that, how long?
a day.
Okay, well, that doesn't give much time. I was
Well,
gonna say if it took.
That's all
a
it
few-
takes to execute it.
Uh-huh.
He'll notify them as to when the execution is gonna happen.
Okay, because I was just gonna say if it takes 24 hours is not very long, but if it was, you know, a few days and he tells them during the window of time between now and the time the actual cleanup crew shows up, the homeowner has total right to move anything they want out.
Yeah, it's their
correct?
possession.
Okay, all right.
Yes, sir, we'll have to contact the contractor. He will give me available dates. Then we'll funnel it down to when it's appropriate to go.
Like
So
we
it-
did
it
with the
will take a
last
few
one.
days.
Unfortunately, the last one took a day and a half.
And it took us about
Lot
a
more
week,
stuff.
about a week to make the date to be there.
Right.
Week and a half.
But yes, and indeed, that is still their property, and
Until-
if they were to haul it off between now and then, that's up to them.
That's, that,
Or sell it.
if I may interject.
Okay.
That's exactly right. There's nothing in the ordinance that would prohibit the owners from removing anything from the property, themselves. In fact, if it's all removed before the city gets there, then there's no abatement action to be taken. But now that the council has voted on it, now the mayor, Bob, have been charged to execute the council's will. It's just a matter of setting that time up. So they'll have an opportunity to know when that is. And, you know, if there's anything that can be done by them between now and then to remove the items entirely from the property or something, then they've got that opportunity. Which in the long run would save money as well, both city money and their money, because on the back side of this, your ordinance provides that the cost related to the abatement will be assessed against the owner. So if any of this is removed from there, then that just lessens that overall cost.
Okay.
That's great.
Mr. Mayor, one question. Bob, did you say the neighbors will be notified also? Did I dream that, or did?
I don't believe
No,
that. No,
It may be that,
it's not like a zoning case.
no.
Okay,
I may put a little posting by the door of
Okay.
the residents so that they, if they're there or not, they
Okay.
see that we've planned this date. But no, there's no,
okay,
the neighbors are not necessarily involved in this part of it.
okay.
All right, moving on. We have a resolution concerning COVID-19 leave policy, just for the information of the public. We've wrestled with a policy on COVID-19 because of its nature is completely different than anything else, obviously, the world has ever seen, at least in modern times. And for lack of a policy, it's left up to me as to what we're going to do if somebody's off with COVID-19. And what I have done thus far is followed the lead that was before I got here and done the same thing. I asked for council to actually adopt a policy, so we had a guideline, because I think that's better than just being arbitrary. Because at any moment, I may say no to somebody, and then I'll get us in legal trouble, and I don't want to be arbitrary at all. With that being said, we asked Attorney Black to draft us a policy, in which he did. We went through this in pre-council and came up with a few things that Councilor Roberts would like to have executed as changes in the document. Otherwise, I think everybody was fairly comfortable with the document. We were going to, what exactly did we come up with, Robbie? Do you recall? All the pieces and parts that we did come up with.
Oh, let's see.
You wanted to
One was.
insert a couple of words in here. It
Yeah.
says COVID-19 leave may only be used by an employee in the following situations.
Yes, because there are
What
it's
words did
multiple
you wanna-
choice basically on
What
there,
did you
so-
want to add there?
I gotta find it again here on the thing. Unfortunately, that package you sent me was the one from the meeting before. So
Was it?
kinda- Yeah, I'm having to work back through my
apologize.
stuff here. Can I borrow yours, John, for a second?
That's
Yes,
right.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's in that top line right there.
Yes, up here. So it says COVID-19 leave may only be used by an employee in the
The following situation.
situation. So I would say in any of the following situations.
So you want to insert the words any of.
Yeah,
Take out the
because
word
you don't,
in.
it's not cumulative, it's a,
So leave the word in any of,
yes.
so we'll add those two words in there. That's one change. You had talked about wanting to make a change of the word from may to must. I disagreed with that, because I felt like in the context of providing, excuses and things, this was kind of an unusual circumstance.
Well, in light of,
But in a usual circumstance, what has been tried and true in the HR world is to leave that word may in there, because it gives you better flexibility from an HR perspective versus tying you into a must situation.
and in light of the fact this is just a 4-month window, and we haven't done this before, I'm willing to drop that
That
request at this
okay.
time so that we can see how it pans out over the 4 months.
But it-
I think that'd be.
And for additional
appropriate.
clarification for the public, it would basically for employees that are employed, that have 90 days with the city or full-time, and we did talk about making it available also to the part-time employees. That language will change. So we need
Yeah,
to
that
make a
was-
note.
that was gonna be the next
Need to
thing I
make a
was gonna
note
bring
of
up.
the fact that we're gonna include part-time, permanent part-time employees in this. And they will be paid based on, the normal
The hours they
hours
work.
worked in a week.
So it would match up with their current sick and, you okay? Current sick and,
I got two of the
health.
most qualified firefighters in Pinson on the scene. I'm gonna let them handle it.
it's like getting sick at the hospital. It's a great place to be.
It is a good place.
Yes, to add that in there. We also discussed about
Got that, Jane?
the window of dates in the past. However, it turns out that there's no one that would apply to, so we could leave that language in per the mayor's request in order to,
Remind us if we need to.
should we extend this in the future, we could then adjust the dates accordingly.
Shane?
Yeah, so, Mr. Mayor, what I've done is, every time in here it says full-time employees, I've added after that, and permanent part-time employees.
Yes.
And then at the top of page 2, I've added, after it says COVID leave may be used by an employee in increments of no less than 1 full day, I've tried to clarify what that means between the difference between the two. Okay. And so I've added a sentence that says, for a full-time employee, 1 day of COVID-19 leave is equal to 1 regular workday of the full-time employee, i.e., for a full-time employee working an 8-hour workday, 1 day of COVID-19 leave for that employee is equal to that 8-hour workday. And then I added the similar sentence for a permanent part-time employee. 1 day of COVID leave is equal to 1 regular day of that part-time employee's work, and I did the same IE and used the 4-hour day example. So 4-hour work days, 1 day of COVID leaves. 4
Based on
hours.
what your workday actually
Yeah,
is.
so it specifies, you know, your day of leave matches up to whatever your full regular work day is. So if I work 5 hours a day as a part-time for the city of Pinson, and I get 10 days under this policy, that's 10 days, but it's measured by my 5-hour workday. So I've added that to the draft that I've got right here.
That sounds like it about covers everything that we spoke about in pre-council. To clarify for the public, what we refer to as a permanent part-time employee is someone that's employed with the municipality and they work for us on a weekly basis. They work less than 19 hours or less a week on average. That's something we have to be very strict of. And we have several that do work in that capacity, and it helps us run a lot of departments and get a lot of things done on the weekend and stuff without having to overburden ourselves with more full-time employees.
Well, I'll change my 4-hour day example to a 3-hour work day then. You said 19 hours or less, right?
For example.
There you go. Well, I'll use that.
For
Very good.
example. All right, additional questions or comments or questions from council? Because it seems like a reasonable policy to me. I appreciate the fact that Mr. Black has prepared this for us. I know the first draft we saw was one that was adopted in Hueytown, and it was much, I didn't particularly care for it, but at least it was a starting point to get us thinking.
That was about 90 days ago that we saw that.
It has been quite some time.
Well, this provides us some consistency with how we apply the policy. It's not arbitrary. There's no way anybody could say that we showed favoritism to one employee over another. This is consistent. It's temporary unless we deem otherwise later.
That's right. And again, just trying to deal with a worldwide pandemic that we've never seen the likes of in our lifetime.
And let me add this too, because it kind of goes to Don's point. Y'all have, been talking about doing something like this for a while, and I know that, as I understand it, you don't have any employees that paragraph y'all talked about would impact, and this is certainly not a retroactive thing. However, with that paragraph in there, if you were an employee that did take sick leave off, and you took your normal sick leave pay, and you had taken it earlier this year, then this policy might as well have been adopted back then, because you can credit those days back against your COVID leave. So even though you guys have been talking about this for some time, it wouldn't hurt anybody that had taken time off because of COVID. She might as well have adopted it, 9 days ago, if that makes sense. So, I mean, you can look at it that way as well. I think, as y'all said, Penson, as far as y'all know, has been pretty fortunate. Nobody's had to do that. But, I mean, that's one way that you can look at it in terms of you're not really acting late on this because it does stretch back to help people that may have had to take off for this.
It does, and we've been using a standing policy, non-written, all through that time, which has been appropriate. And again, that's what I wanted to get away from. I didn't particularly care for that. I don't mind having the burden put on me when it needs to be, but when it doesn't need to be, I'd rather have the input of the council as to how they would like us to proceed. All right, who would like to offer this resolution?
I'll offer it.
All right,
Let me
offered
get
by
back to you.
Tanner.
Second.
And second by,
Yeah, I heard him.
Robert's. You were like more than a millisecond behind. You were like, it's like you didn't even
You're
see the
dragging.
curveball till it was in the mitt right there. All right, so I have an offer and a second. I'm assuming we have no additional discussion. All right, seeing none, roll call vote on the main resolution.
Counselor Tanner?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
Mayor Cochran?
Yes, and let the record reflect that passes as resolution number 21-36 with the denoted changes that will be forthcoming before we, put it on the record. All right, moving forward, Councilor Kirkland wanted to talk about the showers at Bicentennial Park and the conversion of those into storage facilities.
Yes, I've noticed, I'm over there quite a bit now with my great-granddaughter on her skateboard, and I might as well walk while I'm over there, but I've noticed a same lady in the showering a lot, and so it's to me, it's not meant for that purpose, for people just to be hanging out. And she was in there 4 hours one day, so she was still there when I left. But anyway, I just think it's not good. Some of the parents over there didn't appreciate it, but I think we need to turn the water off now, and let's make nice closets out of those. So let's do it right with maybe bricks or whatever, concrete, however we can do it, which would, since it is in an environment which doesn't get it's air conditioned now, so it does get air circulating. So
Not quite yet, but it's on the way.
Oh, it's on the way. Okay. So I'm just saying, I think we need to let's allot some money or figure out what it's going to cost to get these converted in.
So
to
you're
closets.
basically making a motion that we allow what would be an appropriate cost to encase those as closets, disconnect the water, et cetera, and get that project done. I don't
Yes.
really have a dollar value to it, but I can't imagine it'd be over $5,000 at the most. And I can't imagine it would cost that, but just, let's say it'll be less than $5,000. Just basically a motion to have the mayor to execute that. Is that what I got?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Additional discussion.
I was on top of that one. I was on top of that one.
You were on your game
Bring it
there.
in.
He's ready. So, I agree with and we did mention this in a pre-council at the previous meeting on here, so, but we didn't have any discussion. I don't know how other people felt. I liked the mayor's suggestion. I don't remember, staff may have joined in too, I'm not sure, regarding the conversion into closets. We do need some closet space over there. I don't know, if the plumbing needs to be completely removed or if these could be, repurposed back in or whatever after they're closed off. I do think, though, that it was important, since, the council needs to, is responsible for property. I do think it's a good idea for us to actually authorize the changing of the building and to let the mayor, be able to execute the repairs or the changes. I don't know exactly, though, what the idea was. I got to thinking about it after the last meeting regarding what the construction technique would be. Obviously, you need a door, or it's not a closet anymore. It's just basically the same thing we got over there now. The rooms are block now, which is very heavy duty. It's designed for public use, that sort of thing. and it's, you know, not always, we don't have monitors in the restrooms over there. So, I just want to make sure that the construction, if it's in a public area, because I can't even remember where all those showers are, but the ones that are in the public restrooms anyway.
They are.
That they would be, the doors and all, and the whatever walls that may be required to go around it, even if it's this wide, needs to be of a comparable construction technique that the room itself is made out of. I'm concerned about using sheetrock in there because I know people could just start running around knocking holes.
I don't think
in
we'll
the
use
thing.
any sheetrock. We'll use construction, obviously, we'll use construction that's appropriate for a room that has a lot of moisture in it and dampness to it. And sheetrock wouldn't be good for that.
Okay.
I'm not sure altogether that I want to put in a header and put cinder block up necessarily, but we'll find the appropriate materials that'll look right in the area along with the door that'll look right. And once you paint it, it'll all look like it should be there. I agreed. It needs to look like it belongs.
Okay, yeah, we don't want to look like an add-on. I mean, to be some, you know, look like it was planned that way all along, I suppose, there and that. And I can't, like I say, I can't remember, I don't have as big an issue if it was, I assume the other showers are in wet areas, technically wet. They're all in a restroom or of some
Yeah.
shape, form, or fashion. I can't
Yeah, there's
remember
one
how
in the
they were
men's
set up.
room and one in the ladies' room.
Okay.
And there's also one that is in the family restroom right off of the splash pad.
But we're
I'm
not
not
talking about
recommending doing away with that one. So if somebody decides, hey, I want to wash this chlorine off of me, they can go in there and wash the chlorine off of themselves. But we'd even talked about the possibility of putting in a shower head outside of there where you can just stand under it as if you're at the beach and wash the chlorine off.
I agree with that. They're fully clothed.
You know, and to be honest, I was around when the entire facility was built. I don't know what the thinking was of why we needed a shower. On hindsight, I would have to say it was bad thinking. We probably didn't need a shower. But converting it to a storage facility is really gonna help because we need some more storage over there for certain things to organize and get the way I like them.
That restroom that you just mentioned, it's locked off anyway during non-useful
During,
hours,
yeah,
correct?
it's always locked during non-operations.
When it's cold outside.
Right. Well, when we're not using the splash pad, it's locked.
Okay.
It's not open like these are. Okay, additional discussion. I
Um,
know it's an unusual conversation, and I get it. You know, there's no law against going in there and taking a shower. I mean, there's just not. So the best thing to do is do away with the shower, and you do away with the showering, which is not illegal, but I find completely inappropriate.
I do too.
I assume that the men's bathroom is the same shape as the women's to a certain extent, as far as where that shower is
It
at
is.
the end. I'm a little concerned that a door will fit there to open, like, because of the handicap bathroom stall and everything. I'm not disagreeing with we need to do that, because currently, I think the Public Works employees, their bathroom has drinks in it, you know, so we do need more closets. But I'm just not sure about opening, you know, it might have to do something other than a door, because in the women's, there's a handicap bathroom right there. Go in with it? Okay. Okay, sounds good. I was just concerned with that.
Oh, yeah, we're not gonna block any access to anything.
I think there's
obviously.
enough room swinging out. I've looked at it quite a bit because I thought about taking the curtain down one day.
That may cut
And-
down on the alarm system use sometimes too.
It's possible, and, you know, how deep in the weeds can we go? All right, good. I'm good with it. All right, moving on. Did we vote on that?
No.
All right, up or down vote. All those in favor of letting the mayor execute this, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes carried. We have the authority. Thank you. All right, moving along now. We have the gate system at the Turk Creek Nature Preserve, going to be offered by Counselor Tanner.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to offer, I'd like to offer a motion to pay, I can't talk right now, to move the current gate to a new location that is better, at Turkey Creek in the amount of $14,995.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Again, because of the touchless nature of this, the gate, et cetera, I deem that it falls under the same categories that we have used for other gate systems that were eligible for the American Recovery Act money. I'm saying it so, it is.
And in the pre-council, I tried to cajole our Public Works into doing the gate, but I was told that this would need to be a specialty item due to the nature of the way the gate works. And in hindsight, yes, I think with this equipment being added onto it, any slight deviation in its operation might render that
That's right.
unfunctional. So
That's right. Now, we will be in charge of the project, obviously, and Eric will oversee that. We found Eric's oversight on projects of this nature to be very advantageous. He is very particular about the way things are done. He expects our vendors to do jobs a particular way and looks after the people's money, and we appreciate it.
So basically, the gate needs to be moved because of the pavilion complex which was built. So this will help us with
The
that?
change, yeah, it needs to be moved because of the change of the interior workings of the preserve. Because now, there will be times that you'll need to go beyond the gate that blocks off the entire preserve and the new pavilion. This gate can be open when you only need to go to the pavilion, and if you need to continue to go in the preserve, they'll have an additional, less expensive gate added downstream, if you will, to block that area. The main thing is where the gate is today, if they have it blocked to lock off the preserve, then you can't get to the parking lot, which is necessary for the pavilion.
Ah, okay.
So it's gotta be moved up and another gate moved down, a
Okay.
lesser expensive gate,
That
just
makes sense.
functional. Okay,
Plus, the house is not behind that gate.
that's right. The house is not, and it will be once it's moved.
Right.
The house, everything beyond, the road will be behind the gate.
The homeowner will have access, I guess, to this new equipment.
There is no home.
We're the homeowner on the house on the left.
The house on the
Oh,
left.
oh,
The other's
The
burning
house
on
on the left
Southern.
burned to the ground.
Yeah.
And we now own the property.
I was thinking more about the Bullfrog Bend piece.
Well, they will have access to the codes and
That's
keys.
what
Their own,
Yes,
yes,
yes. The
yes.
people that own the property across the creek will have access to any gate keys,
Okay.
gates and codes and keys.
So that's
Absolutely.
even a better reason for having this
That's right.
modern system of access.
And I have talked to them about their willingness to maybe let the city of Pinson have it.
Well, we'd
And
be
we
an
can
excellent
preserve
vendor
it.
We would
for 'em.
love it.
They're not ready for that conversation, but I have asked. I'm sure the mayor before me probably asked as well. All right, so I have motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The record reflect the ayes carry. Will you have time to go ahead and get that ball rolling tomorrow? Reach out to Charles, let him know we're doing it, get the contact so we can manage the project. Thank you, Eric. All right. Next item up is Robbie Roberts.
So we need a floor cleaning machine over at the Rock School Center with the new flooring that we put in. It is very difficult to clean that without the use of one of these machines. I have some very close family members that happen to be very familiar with this particular model. I actually showed it to them to say, hey, what do you think about this? They said, this is the one we use. So this, quite frankly, if you're in the custodial business, is a necessity for a property of that size over there. So I think this would be very, very valuable.
Point of order, Robbie. To make sure the audience understands, this is a battery-operated cordless machine. What we have found, we did get a machine, and we appreciate it, from the Center Point Fire Department that is a corded machine. It's a little older machine and needed a little bit of this, that, and the other, and we've done all that and got the machine working. I actually went and did the floors myself last week with that machine, just to determine to myself, if I took Dawn over there and said, hey, operate this machine, it'd be very cumbersome. This will be a much easier machine. It's much more practical for anybody to operate. Me operating it, okay, I got the cord, I can handle it. But I can assure you, the mayor's not always going to be the one operating the floor cleaner.
We're gonna take turns.
Don't mind doing it sometimes, but probably not gonna do it every time. So,
I have actually run a machine like this after requests from these close family members, and when they were in a pinch, I can vouch that there's no technical skill required, so it would be fine.
well, the other one is just a matter of when you go back and forth, then you gotta move the cord and move all the cables, and
No
it's just.
cords. They
and
do have to plug it in though
Then
in
you gotta
advance.
disconnect the water flow, and then you gotta pick up this and pick up, it's just a lot of little levers and stuff. It's cumbersome if you're a lightweight, no offense.
No, this has a self-contained tank. This is much more like mini version of what we bought Public Works to clean the streets out.
All right, with all of that being
So I would
said-
like to make a motion that we purchase one of these machines for the sum of $5,238.18.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I would also contend, Mr. Black, if you would entertain me on this one just for a moment, I would also contend that because this helps provide sanitation of the facilities between uses and that type of thing, that it would fall under the guidelines of all the COVID monies we've spent before, such as when we go in and mist the areas and we clean them and that type of stuff. So I would say that their Recovery Act money could fit into that category as well. Would you disagree with me on that?
Let's talk about it in more detail.
We can, but we're gonna buy it one way or the other, but I think we can use those funds, much like when we bought the misters, for sanitation. It's very similar to me, but yeah, we can talk about
Yeah,
that more in
we'll
detail.
just-
Okay.
I would agree with the mayor and say that this machine is more sanitary than standard mopping techniques by far.
I can
Oh,
assure
yes.
you that.
Oh, yes.
There's no doubt about that. Cleaning up the COVID, keeping everybody safe. That's what we do. That's what we're about. All right, so I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect. The ayes carried. I'm gonna win that one, Shane. All right, having done all of that, it would appear that Centerpoint Fire is here now. They were unable to be here earlier tonight. They had a few things they need to deal with. So if, Chris, if you would, take the microphone. We'll entertain you now. Do you have a fancy presentation that's gonna take over our screen?
No.
Okay.
Chief Coleman is at a EMS conference, so he's not here. So he asked me to do it, and the other meeting I was at run a long way for some reason. They were talking about trash. Anyway, for the month of October, we ran 918 calls. Year-to-date is 9,250 calls. This time last year, we run 8,137 calls. That's an increase of 1,113 calls. Friday is our busiest day. This past month, we had 162 incidents. And as Chief has always said, he always tried to pick the time of the day. And noontime is our busiest time of the day, in this last month. Station 1 ran 35% of the calls at 323. Station 2, 25% of the calls at 233 calls. Station 4, 97 at 11%. Station 5, 265 calls at 29%. We had 3 business building fires, 1 cooking fire, 3 vehicle fires, 1 out building fire, 3 brush fires. We had a individual get hit on 79. Our wrecks are picking up for some reason. I know Chief they've had an increase also. We run 128 wrecks in the month of October, which is up.
We had 3 today in 2 hours.
Amen to that. I was watching it. Yes, sir. We've stood by at football games 12 times this past month. Speaking of I saw on the agenda, I'm sorry, the Shred-a-thon, we'll have 4 to 5 of our explorers here at 9 o'clock that morning to help assist with that, like we always
appreciate
have.
that. I should be able to come over and help in the very beginning of that. I gotta be at Main Street at about 6:30, then I can be here, then I go home.
Yeah. I'll be here to get them started and make sure they get here.
Any other council members that would like to be down here and assisting with the Shred-a-thon, you're welcome to come and be a part of it when people come up, help
We,
get stuff out of their cars.
Well,
Sure.
Getting volunteers everywhere.
I'm getting volunteers, man.
did you say you were bringing?
He's
Oh,
bringing
you
stuff
said
for sure.
old and you were bringing, I was confused. Anyway, we had this past week, we had a apartment fire up in, off of 20th Avenue Northeast. I had a young man, our crews went in and did an outstanding job and got him out less than 10 minutes of the fire, of them arriving and getting everything set up and rushed him to Children's Hospital. As of yesterday, the young man's doing fine. He's still having some issues of breathing, but they looks like he's gonna make a full recovery. Chief Coleman and myself, or one of us, get up here every week, every month, and we stress this along with Chief at Palmerdale, is this really blows my mind that this past month, we only had 7 requests for smoke detectors that are free. We only had 7, and we're still running in people's homes that don't have smoke detectors. You can call our office, they're free. You can call Palmerdale, he will also, they're free, they'll get you some. We work close together, we'll get them to you. They're there, they're available. There's no reason for you not having working smoke detectors, so.
Doesn't cost you a dime.
Will not cost you a dime. We'll actually drive out there and put them up for you. That's all I have. Any
Wait a
questions?
minute, you're telling me I can get a smoke detector instead of having to
free.
skip a meal, I can get a smoke detector at
For
no
free.
cost. I can call you guys, you'll come to my house, you'll install it
For free.
at no cost. What he said,
That's
for
exactly-
free. So it's unimaginable why people wouldn't take advantage of that and then get caught in a situation where you needed one and it cost you your life or a loved one's life. So
That's correct.
please call the fire department, get a free smoke detector. Don't put your family's life, in danger.
That's correct. Even at this meeting tonight, the Trustful Tribune's got a real story that she's gonna get to post, so I'm glad we're here for that. So, any other questions?
I have no questions, but we do appreciate everything you do. You're gonna do that thing that,
Close the door where you snore.
Sleep.
Keep a beep where you sleep. 911's our number, and we make house calls.
that's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions for Chris?
I think one day we need to do that all in unison, because I think we're all beginning
ready.
to finally learn that.
I'll be honest with you, I like the idea of us doing it in unison, but I have very little faith that we could do it.
We may need a cheat sheet.
You may need more than that. You may need practice.
I drove by their station one day, and the chief had put up this big sign, I think it may have been for the construction, but they had changed the wording. And he actually had it up on one of those roadside signs.
I had that running, and that was done by design, and also that was the Alabama logo was on there to remind everyone about fire deaths. We're up to about 72, I think now, the last report of fire deaths in Alabama.
I did want to talk about one additional thing, because we've had some calls here at City Hall from some of the churches around, and they're saying, hey, my fire dues went up. And I understand that you guys did increase their fire dues, not quite, basically you reduced the amount of discount they were getting. Is that right? Because at some point, they were surprised, and I'm like, I don't know why you're surprised. So if we say it here, people don't have a reason to be surprised.
Fire dues did increase this time when they went out, and my understanding is the churches did increase along with some businesses. We do have a meeting next Monday at 6 o'clock at admin. If anybody'd like to come then to address the board, they're more than welcome to do that. And they can get
And again,
some
that's
answers.
not decisions you guys make, it is decisions that the board makes, and they make the best financial decision for the board, who needs to pay how much in fire dues and stuff. Different fire departments operate different ways, different ones charge different rates depending on different factors. You've been giving great discounts to the churches for a long time, and I think you still are. I think based on what the board did this time, it's not as much. So we just wanted the public to know and the people at the churches to know. Feel free to call the fire department with any questions you may have.
There again, Monday night, 6 o'clock at our admin building, we'll have our board meeting.
I think I've been there twice already.
Yes, sir, you have.
I have. You usually come with a check. I may come without a check one day, you never know.
Come on. Anybody's welcome. Anything else?
I've got nothing else, anyone?
No.
All right, seeing nothing, thank you, Chris. We talked about Wreaths Across America. We don't have the document in front of us, but we had it a few weeks ago. Anyway, they were asking for $1,500 for 100 wreaths. They lay them on veterans' graves. Clay does this, Trustful does this, and basically the way they do this and make it work is we're gonna buy 100 wreaths, and we wanna make sure you cover our cemeteries where veterans are. And seek out the veterans in our cemeteries. And then if you have some left over, you feel free to take them to some other overflow. It's something that I think would be good to do. I know I respect our veterans and what they bring to the table. It's very much like our first responders or police officers, sheriffs, deputies, firefighters, putting their life on the line for us every day that they put a uniform on. And the veterans, when you have to go to Afghanistan and stuff like that, not all of them do. But the possibilities there when you're in the service that you're going to be deployed, and many of them have been deployed, there's not enough respect in the world to give to the guys that put their life on the line. So that's what the deal is with Wreaths Across America. I think it's perfectly fine for us to do that under the guise of we direct where they go. For our veterans, I see nodding going on down at the end of the table from our attorney. I believe he's in agreement with that. So is there someone on the dais that would like to make a motion that we do that?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, John.
Also, excuse me,
I got a second down here, but go ahead.
okay. They put these out in the cemeteries, and then they have them get together in December sometime down at on big cemetery down there on
The Jefferson.
Elmwood?
Jefferson Memorial.
Jefferson Memorial,
Yeah.
okay.
And they have a program down there at the Veterans Cemetery and
Yeah.
putting flags and all out
A
right
ceremony, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The other part of that is, now that we have a motion in a second, is we can direct them to the cemeteries that we would like them to concentrate on our behalf with that 100 wreaths that we are purchasing. One of them I know will be Red Hill Cemetery. What's another historical cemetery in Pinson? So we need to know that, and we've got is that Sun Hill?
Sun Hill and the one by the elementary school.
Okay, so we'll list
I don't know
those
the name
out
of it.
when we send it in to them as the ones we want to concentrate. Sunrise indeed is not in Pinson, but it's in Birmingham. But an awful lot of people from the history of this community are buried there. It doesn't matter that it's a half a mile outside of Pinson, and then you get past it and you're in Pinson again. Don't ask about the lines and why Birmingham's lines right here. That's one that I think would be appropriate for us to use. So with that being said, I have a motion and a second. You guys submit to me which cemeteries you want them to concentrate on. We'll put that in writing to them along with the check. Okay? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect the ayes carry. We will write a check to Wreaths Across America to honor our veterans. And can't think of something better to do. And remember, on Veterans Day, closes this Friday, the registration for the Veterans
Yes,
Day
tomorrow.
luncheon closes tomorrow. So if you are a veteran, it doesn't matter whether you live in Pinson or you live in Fultondale or you live in, it doesn't matter. Register for you and a +1. You'll come through, you'll get 2 meals plus a free gift of our appreciation. So please do that. And our council will be down there to actually pass those meals out on Veterans Day. All right, I was unaware that we were having a side conversation down there.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, we need to annex that
Well,
cemetery.
you were just out of order.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I know you were. I'm just playing with you.
I know you are.
Now I got one going down here.
No.
Sounds like
I'm just making
we're
my
restless. All right, does anyone have anything else they would like to add before we go to public comment tonight?
So, I did want to comment briefly on the fact that I thought it was very impressive that the Atlanta Braves won the World Series. I know that was mentioned.
I would have never known that you liked the Braves.
I know it was mentioned at the last council meeting, and being one who never passes up an opportunity to promote the Braves, I decided I would come dressed appropriately.
What's the shortstop's name again?
Swanson?
Swanson. I will say this. I'm watching the game the other night, game 6, the deciding game. And I'm a big baseball guy, always have been, played the game all of my life where I was able to play the game. Obviously, I'm not now. But when he hit that home run, that was as good a form as I've ever seen on a swing. As soon as he made contact with the ball, I just said, that's gone. There's no doubt. It was as beautiful a swing as I've ever seen. And for a baseball fan, that's important. But congratulations to the Atlanta Braves, indeed.
It's coming from a Cardinals fan, that actually means something. So.
Well, and I will say, and I saw this statistic today. I saw this today. It's not a stat, but a fact. In 1957, when the Braves won, Lloyd Nix was the quarterback at Auburn. In 1995, when the Braves won the World Series, Patrick Nix was the quarterback at Auburn. And in 2021, when the Braves won the World Series, Bo Nix is quarterback at Auburn.
Wow.
That's a statistic. That's pretty good.
That's a pretty odd.
very,
That's
yeah,
a pretty odd coincidence. Lloyd is not related
Very.
to Bo and Patrick,
yeah.
But the name.
but the name is the same.
That's pretty cool.
That's kind of weird.
That needs to be a Jeopardy question.
I wouldn't know because I don't watch Jeopardy, because I don't like to be made to feel less intelligent than I am. All right, let's go to the public. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come to the microphone and give us some public comment? All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect the ayes carried. We are hereby adjourned. Thank you for your time.